Instead of procrastinating by thinking, simply do the next thing with your full attention. Good day everyone, and thanks for joining me. My name's Nicholas, and welcome to the show. Now, most of the time, these thoughts that we have, and it's tempting to think far too much in our lives, and most of the time, these thoughts are just procrastinations that are stopping us from doing the thing or distracting us from doing the thing. And they're really just ways of filling time, right? They just feels like they're ways of filling time because we're bored, we're tired or anxious about doing this thing we're doing. The thoughts aren't really useful to get to think to draw any sort of conclusion. Most of the time they're just procrastination, distraction from the discomfort of having to do the thing or having to focus on the thing. So it's one of those strange things that this prevents us from focusing wholly on the moment, the life, the thing we're doing now. And really it prevents us in some ways from engaging with life. And Sam Harris talks about this at great length, that this compulsion to think is the means by which we generate suffering, and we can distract ourselves from our own life all the time. And in principle, I think that if we were able to avoid doing this, obviously discursive thought has its place, but if we're able to really limit our discursive thought to when it's actually useful, then we might be able to make sure that we do things as effectively and as joyfully and as passionately and as mindfully as we can. Our life, the quality of our day-to-day life and moment experience could potentially be a lot better, even with the same kind of external world. And in doing so, we should be able to get stuff done more effectively because we're fully there, fully committed to it. So the problem again with thought is that we think we're doing something useful, but what we're actually doing is distracting ourselves from actually achieving and performing at the highest level of the current task. And in the worst case, we're just putting off and procrastinating and even sometimes not doing the things we have to do because we're consumed by this thought. That's a really big deal because in some ways all life really is a series of tasks. I mean, what else is it? So you think about stuff, reflect on stuff, but where the rubber meets the road is you have a series of tasks to do, and you need to fully focus on doing those things. Whether that task might be just listening and observation, but it's still something that requires your full attention, and thinking about the next thing or the other thing or the previous life, or the life that you could have had, or the life you're going to have, or whatever it is. Those things don't help you do the thing in the present moment. In fact, they sort of run counter. So again, just instead of procrastinating by thinking or distracting by thinking, simply do that thing you've got to do with that next thing with your full attention. And that should bring victory. That should bring you the best quality of life, the most efficient and effective quality of life. And if you feel the need to really think about stuff a lot, what I find works for me is if I make sure I go, okay, cool, there's a lot of stuff to think about. Let's write a diary tonight. Let's set aside 10, 20 minutes tonight to think about that mindfully in a strategic situation where we can fully disconnect from the external world and the quietness of our mind, maybe with someone we care, like a trusted friend or a counselor or something. It's a mindful experience with a confidant of some kind, maybe with a diary in hand. We can do that strategic thinking rather than trying to do it in the time of our lives when we're supposed to actually just be living our life. So we separate those two. All right, well, thanks for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.